I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of January 20th, 2016. It's New Comic Book Day, new batch of awesomeness for you to choose from, and we're here to be your guides on what you should check out. So some of the stuff that we enjoyed the most this week coming at you. First up, Devolution #1 by Rick Remender, artwork by Jonathan Weishak, published by Dynamite Entertainment. This is a post-apocalyptic thriller that we don't know a whole lot about because there's only one issue out. So the main character is a girl named Raja who is looking for a cure for what ails the human race. And what ails the human race is, and it's really interesting. It's kind of like commentary on present day society to some degree. Basically, I don't know if it's our government, the governments of the world, I don't remember, get together and decide that in order to stop all of the badness in the world, we need to remove religion from people's brains. So belief in a higher power, and they develop a bomb that is supposed to do this, but it has horrible side effects and actually devolves everyone and everything, so not just humans, but everything on the planet, to kind of prehistoric proportions. And there are some people that are not affected. It's kind of like a plague, kind of like The Walking Dead. You end up with some survivors that are not the most savory of folks that may need to work together to get along in this new world. And the main character, Raja, again, has been working to find a cure for several years, and we believe that she may be close. The stuff that I found interesting was, again, the commentary on today's society. And I don't think Remender is too far off. I mean, he takes a very dark view of the human race. But there's some truth to it. I really enjoyed it. Fast-paced. I think fans of The Walking Dead will really dig it. But those of you that like Remender's previous work, I think you'll enjoy it as well. The artwork is incredibly solid. And very pleasant surprise from Dynamite this week. Devolution #1, my pick of the week.
Mad Max meets Jurassic World.
Or I could have said that.
It's good. First up for me this week, we've got Captain Marvel #1. Do you know the correct pronunciation of these names?
I do not.
All right, so we got Michelle Fizekis and Tara Butters writing with art by Chris Anka. Paul Anka's grandson, actually.
Paul Anka?
Did you say it Anka?
Oh, is that how you say it?
I don't know. Maybe that's how I say it now. This is new Captain Marvel #1, and as we've seen with Captain Marvel in A-Force and in Spider-Woman, she is in charge, or is working with, basically appointed director of Alpha Flight, which is a branch of SWORD, our this is a new version of Alpha Flight, where they're protecting us from galactic threats before they get to Earth. So Carol's going up for a 2-year deployment on a space station. She's with the traditional Alpha Flight lineup, pretty much. You've got Puck and...
those other people.
I keep thinking Walter. What's Sasquatch's? Sasquatch.
Yeah, it's Walter.
Walter Qualowitz or something like that.
His name is Sasquatch.
Sasquatch. And you've got a couple of the other ones. I'm terrible with Alpha Flight names.
As most people are. I mean, is it Shaman? Is it...
it's not Shaman.
Is it
it's
Northstar? Is it...
It's not...
Is it...
it's the ones with the...
Heather Hudson? No.
They have code names.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. They're Alpha Flight members, if you know who those are. We also get a cameo by Rocket Raccoon, and of course, everyone's first day has to have a horrible, potentially Earth-ending event happen, and Carol's does. I really like it. They've got like the Alpha Flight crew in like spaceships. It's almost like the end of Star Wars, where you've got Rogue Squadron, commanded by Carol Danvers, not in a spaceship because she can breathe in space, and fighting threats. There's a lot of solid humor to it. It's very relatable. I felt they did a great job with Carol's personality. She came across exactly how I think of Carol in my head. So, Captain Marvel #1, and you said these are the...
I believe they're the writers on Agent Carter.
Which also premiered last night, so if you
I
like
haven't
that,
watched yet,
give it a
so
look. They
don't
strong
back
female
in time
lead,
and tell me about
there's
it.
a connection there.
Yeah, I mean, and Agent Carter is an amazing show on all fronts, so kind of a breath of... I don't want to say breath of fresh air, a new take.
They're in space, there's no breath.
Yeah, there's no breathing in space. Anyway, cool, good to know. All right, Poison Ivy, Cycle of Life and Death #1. This is a 6-issue miniseries written by Amy Chu, artwork by Clay Mann, and this was another one that I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did, just because I don't really care about the character of Poison Ivy. But Chu does a great job writing her as a relatable person, even though she has incredible difficulty relating to anything that's not a plant. Not Chew, but but Poison Ivy.
I mean, maybe Chew. I don't know.
Maybe Amy Chew. I don't know. So basically, she's been given a second chance at science, and by her mentor, she's working on some scientific-y stuff involving botany, and then Harley Quinn bursts back into her life, and things kind of go in a weird direction from there. Actually, they seem to. I don't want to spoil it for you. Never mind. Harley's in this because Harley and Ivy are longtime acquaintances, best buds, BFFs, what have you. Really good. The artwork, Clayman's artwork is always good. It's kind of a throwback to early Mark Silvestri, kind of that Top Cow style from Witchblade and kind of almost Michael Turner-esque to some degree. So if you like that art style, you'll dig this too. But the real strength here is Amy Chew's writing of the characters. So we've actually had several people inquire about this in advance because Poison Ivy isn't really around much in the DC universe. So if you're looking for your Ivy fix, this is it. Cycle of Life and Death, #1.
Second chance at science.
That's what it should. That should have been the subtitle. Not Cycle of Life and Death. Poison Ivy, second chance at science.
Poison Ivy is Sheldon Cooper.
We will give you that one, Amy Chew. When you write the sequel, it will be called Second Chance at Science.
Next up, I've got Ms. Marvel #3, still written by G. Willow Wilson with art by someone Miyakazawa. All right, Takeshi Miyazawa. There, I got it. And I really, really like this book. Every week, I'm like, I shouldn't pick it, and then I flip back through. I'm like, this was one of the best things I read this week, so I'm going to tell you about it again. We've got, at the end of the last issue, we had Hydra. It was revealed that the people trying to take over Jersey City is Hydra. So this issue is her, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, trying to break the hold of Hydra on her friends and the other people in the area. And in order to do so, she has to team up with Mike, who is the girl who is dating her best friend, who at the end of the previous series, I'm dating Kamala's best friend, who at the end of the previous series revealed that he had been in love with her for years. And she kind of she didn't shut him down, but she put him on hold. She's like, I can't deal with this right now. The world's ending. And then when we jump 8 months later,
the world was literally ending.
Literally, there were secret wars happening. And we jump back. He's dating Mike. So it's a really neat dynamic between Kamala and Mike. There's a lot of really great, geeky, fun references, and it's just very relatable and awesome teen superhero action.
Finally, for me, something a little off the beaten path. DC has teamed up with Scholastic to do some Diary of a Wimpy Kid-esque books featuring DC Comics superheroes, but not necessarily as superheroes. So the first book out of the gate is DC Comics Superhero Society Study Hall of Justice. This is written by Derek Friedolfs with artwork by Dustin Gwinn, who you may remember from Detective Comics and Little Gotham and many, many other things. So this is basically Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, and Princess Diana, who is a Greek exchange student, foreign exchange student at this exclusive school in Gotham City, probably at the age of 12, maybe ballpark. Middle school, probably middle school age. Yeah, a little bit younger than that. And everything is new. The story is told from the point of view of Bruce, who is being the natural detective that he is. Arrives at this school and realizes that something is up, and we get appearances by many, many familiar DC characters, but in a completely different setting, which is the thing that's a little jostling for longtime comic readers and old comic readers like me. But I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, I could have stopped reading it at some point, but I didn't.
I could have put it down.
I couldn't put it down. My family was waiting for me to watch TV, and I'm like, I'm reading this book. You have to watch something without me. But Bruce ends up getting Clark and Diana together, and they form this Young Detectives Club. There's a better name for it, to try and figure out what is going on with the school and the people that are there. This is, as I said, very enjoyable for regular comics. Really, the target demo with this is probably 8 to 12. And I think that they would totally dig it. If you have a child or know a child that is big into Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman comics, but they can't read a lot of the content that's being published because it's aimed at an older demographic, this is the book for them. If they like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, if they like the Jeff Brown Jedi Academy books, Study Hall of Justice is right up their alley. And as I said, if you're getting it for them, you may as well read it too, because it's really fun, different, and enjoyable.
All right, last up for me, the pattern for the Star Wars book has been they do a story arc and then a one-off story about the adventures of Obi-Wan Kenobi. In the main book, Luke found Obi-Wan's journal, so we've been getting these little one-issue stories about the adventures of Obi-Wan between episodes 3 and 4. And this is another one of those. This is issue 15, still written by Jason Aaron with art by Mike Mayhew. And it's super great. I think they've found the perfect way to do this. Doing it just one-off stories in those breaks always leaves you wanting more. You know, I don't want to get sick of these Obi-Wan stories, and it's just great. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, because the first one was kind of an unknown factor. You know, you didn't know what we were going to get. We didn't know how involved it was going to be, but it fills in what he was doing. It's consistent with the character. It has a lot of great little moments that are quintessential Obi-Wan. But it also we see interaction that we know had to have happened. I mean, you know, we see Uncle Owen in A New Hope talking about, you know, that crazy old wizard who lives by the Dune Sea, you know, and he's obviously the one that gave Luke to Owen and Beru. So there's some interaction there, and we see the nature of the relationship. It's not great, I'll be honest. And it's fun. It's just the idea of the loneliness of this guy who's basically given up his entire life to sit in the middle of nowhere and watch a kid grow up and try and help him even when he's not allowed to help him. It's just awesome.
I will second that. This was runner-up for my pick of the week. Actually, it was neck and neck. And you see, you know, Obi-Wan, we really didn't... The Alec Guinness portrayal of Obi-Wan didn't really show the humor that we got to see in the Ewan McGregor portrayal in those horrible movies, and I guess in the Clone Wars cartoon series to a better extent. But you know, Obi-Wan is narrating this story, and it's very funny. And you know, to pass the time in solitude, he's basically talking to Qui-Gon Jinn, and I was expecting to see like the ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn in this book. Sadly, he does not make an appearance. Spoiler alert. There is no ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn in this book.
It might be an anti-spoiler. I don't know. Yeah,
so good. I mean, really, I don't think we can stress enough how good the Marvel Star Wars books have been. If we're all riding on a Star Wars high because of The Force Awakens, but this is month in and month out some of the best Star Wars stuff in a long, long time. So that is it. Sadly, no top 5 this week. We're a little short on time and creativity, so we will pass on that. Thanks for the comments on the Alan Rickman movies in the last episode. It was nice to see, you know, what some of your favorite film roles were for the late great Alan Rickman. And as always, if you enjoyed this week's episode, give us a thumbs up on YouTube and share it with anybody that you think might be interested in learning about comics that are awesome.
So, or reading comics that are awesome.
Or reading comics that are learning, reading, the whole thing, picture pages. Oh, wait, we can't talk about that, can we? Thanks for watching. We will see you soon.